You're listening to Burnt, and this is episode number 3.
Hey, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and some days we're burnt out.
And some days we're burning it down. This is Burnt, a podcast where you're not going to find us reading off of a script.
These are real, unfiltered, raw conversations between two moms, two women, and all of our friends.
We got a lot of friends, and we are all fired up and ready to make some change.
We're ready to burn it down, and we want you to join us on this journey where we aren't just burning it down, but we're figuring out how to fix it and rebuild it.
Because you got to scorch a little earth, controlled burn, before something beautiful can grow.
Join us every week here for Burnt, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. Hey, friend.
Hi. How are you?
That's such a loaded question.
It really is, isn't it? I've stopped pretending when people ask me in the last several days. Like I saw people yesterday and they were like, "How are you?" And I'm like,
We shouldn't pretend.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes back years of, I'm good, how are you? Good. And then it's just surface and you move on.
Is it Norway or Sweden? There's some saying that if you say "How are you?" and the response is upright and not crying, like it's a common phrase. I feel like
I like that.
That's a good day for me, upright and not crying, because I'm not always both of those things at the same time.
I can be upright and crying. So
I mean, hey. And I can be like completely flat and not crying, but can't function. So that's where we are. Yeah, it's been a ride.
can we update the people on why this has been the ride and what's been going on?
So we are recording this on Tuesday. What is this? September
16th.
16th. So last week, as we were recording episode 2, it was literally happening as we were recording. I was in the process of being doxxed, and
Let's explain what doxxed is,
Oh,
because
God.
that
Yeah,
was a
that's
new
right.
word for many and still is.
So the layman's term example of it is doxing is when you take you find a target and you publish their address, their place of employment or their business, any other information that you can get about that person, pictures of their family, and you post it all online with the expressed intent of destroying their life, getting them fired, making them unemployable, blowing up their notifications, making them fear for their safety. Then oftentimes doxing moves into something more threatening, like death threats. Would you say I described that?
Yep.
well
And that is something that our vice president, as of yesterday, encouraged Americans to do.
I couldn't watch that episode.
Oh, I'm not watching it. I don't
Yeah.
give that. I didn't give the one before, whose name is on the show, a download. I still will not give this one a download. I read the headlines, and that is as much attention as I'm going to give it, because it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's awful. So as last week, as we were recording and the doxing was taking place, like once we finished recording, I opened up my phone and there were just floods of notifications. And then after what happened in Utah, which I'm going to be real careful not to talk about it, in a lot of detail in any capacity, but, with when that happened, the doxing immediately moved into death threats. And for me, people were saying somebody should shoot her in the neck. It would be a shame if someone knifed her in the throat. Why don't people like this get stabbed on a bus? I was sent a GIF of a noose swinging back and forth. And those were the death threats. Like, that's not even the sexual assault sort of geared ones, and just general hate toward women, toward liberal women, toward
And
They,
this had nothing to do, let's be clear, this had nothing to do with Utah. This had nothing to do with that individual who was in the headlines all of last week and this week. This was completely separate simply because you are showing up and speaking out.
yes,
That's it. So I want
I've
to make that
never,
perfectly clear. You did not say something or do something to, even if you had said something to bring this on, you didn't. You have simply been showing up the way you have, regardless of what happened last week in Utah. Totally separate, but
correct.
that fueled more fire to the flame.
I've never, literally never said his name publicly. And I'm going to keep it that way for at least a little while. I've never even engaged in comments about him on social media. So what I'm seeing now, I posted something the other day just illustrating what has taken place and these screenshots of the things that have been sent to me and said about me and posted publicly. And those are just some of the things that, like, we're talking in the thousands of things that were said or posted or DM'd. And I posted this reel with all of that, and the comments are, what did you say about him? What did you do? You deserved it. Clearly, you're a violent person. You celebrated this, this. And they are ascribing all of these things that I have not been a part of. And it just, I think, illustrates how hate speech gets into this funnel and takes off like wildfire. And then they don't even actually care who they're directing it toward, or if it has any, I mean, no hate speech has any sort of standing in morality or fact, but it's like they are actively throwing things at me that don't apply to me. And not that even if I had said anything critical of this person, not that would warrant any of this. It's all very, very like, what was she wearing? Like,
It puts
like
the blame
she
on
was
you
asking
for simply breathing.
Yeah, she was asking for it. And it's all because the thing that kicked it off was they took a screen grab of a reel that I posted in January about protest safety, where I had a bunch of flowers in the background because I went to that protest and literally handed out flowers to protesters and to law enforcement that was keeping the protest safe and peaceful. And so I was handing out flowers to people. That is literally it. That is the thing and then my bio talks about empathy, and my posts all talk about empathy, but because empathy has been villainized and they think that empathy is now evil and bad and amoral and unchristian, it is just, we are in the upside down. We are in 1984. Like, I feel like we're living in a dystopian novel right now. So I'm not going to pretend like it's fine. And I got a lot of thoughts about this whole thing. A lot of thoughts.
It's beyond disturbing. I said this in my Substack yesterday and keep telling my husband this. Like, I feel like we're living in almost like a video game, because this does not seem real, that this is okay, that the leader of our country is inciting violence, that we're being encouraged to call one another out for really nothing. Like, I know the high school friends is a big subject. I know that you've had it. I am seeing it from people that I grew up with. A lot of it I kind of expected because I grew up in a small town. I've been pleasantly surprised by those who are like, no, I stand against this, what we've seen. Yes, death is sad, period. That's where it ends.
Yep, exactly.
But being a racist, homophobe, bigot, that's not cool. Just not cool. But we have these two men running our country who are saying, no, it is cool. It's not only cool, it's encouraged. We encourage you to be a bad human.
Yeah.
Where does that put us as human beings, as mothers raising children? Where does that put us? Because that's not our family value. That's not how we're being raised.
I just had like a physical, visceral reaction to you saying and distilling it down to, we encourage you to be a bad human. Like that is literally what's happening. And that they somehow think that this means that they are moral, that they are righteous. And it only leads me to, I've been thinking a lot about like witch trials and the civil rights movement and the people who went and watched lynchings, and to also hear that public executions are now being called for and euthanizing the homeless population. It's just so absurd and abhorrent and vile, and that it is being dressed up as morality is the thing that I don't understand. And I'm glad that I don't understand it, because it means my brain doesn't operate like that. Something that's interesting though, since I posted publicly about the death threats and the doxing, I think it was impactful for people to see those threats and see it happening to somebody they know, because I have been contacted by multiple people who have previously expressed to me through comments or DMs, people in my real life who have told me that they disagree with what I say. They disagree, that they one person who is not an American citizen, has never lived in America. I know because we were on vacation at the same time, and it was a honeymoon vacation. So we met friends, and this person took it upon themselves to send me a DM after the election saying, you seem like you have a really beautiful life. I think you should stop being so upset. It's really not that bad. I would have voted for Trump if I lived in America. So that was a message I got from this person in November. And he has sent me other messages telling me he disagrees with what I say, and sent me one yesterday basically saying, I hope you're safe. I still disagree with you, but I hope you're safe, and I hope your family is safe. And I got several messages like that from different people. One from somebody I know who has posted photos of herself at Mar-a-Lago. And two people who have posted photos of themselves at Mar-a-Lago. And I wonder if when they see it happening to somebody that they know, and they know to be a good person, I wonder if that is having an effect. But also, I don't know how to communicate to them that they are part of the system that has led to me having law enforcement sit in my driveway to protect my children when they go to school.
Well, like we say with all of this, it has to happen to them in order for them to feel affected. And that's the difference. That's what empathy is. It doesn't have to happen to me to be reaching out to you to say, oh my God, what can I do? I don't even live in the same state as you, but what can I do to be present and to help you and to be there for your family? But yet it has to happen to people. They have to see it with their own eyes, to believe it, to know someone, to touch it, to feel it. And that's really sad, but that's the reality of what we are seeing with everything.
Everything.
Oh, you're a good person. It goes back to the kindness. Oh, but you're so kind. Yeah. So it's okay to be a hateful person because you're kind and polite and you held the door open.
It reminds me of my grandmother. She used to say she didn't have a problem with all Black people. The ones that she knows are fine. And that was like that phrase that I hear in my head sometimes. The ones I know are fine. Like
I had a conversation around Christmas with someone who said the same thing. And, well, I'm always nice to them when I see them at the grocery store. I went, oh.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
No. No.
No. I had another friend respond to me and tell me that I needed to focus on joy. And I was like, I love you, but that doesn't sit with me really well right now, considering I am projectile vomiting with anxiety and adrenaline spikes, and I am having massive PTSD attacks and nightmares. And to know me is to know that joy is very much a part of who I am, and it's something that I really sink into. But there's a time and a place for joy, and I think authenticity is what is needed right now, rather than performative joy when I'm terrified, and when I have other friends who are terrified, and when I'm seeing this like stoking of flames that are impacting people across the country, across the world even. How I don't have joy today. I don't have joy in that. I will have joy later when I'm with my kids and I am off my phone, but when it comes to activism and advocacy, and it's not always going to be joyful, and I think that has to be okay too. Like, it can be both. We have to have space for both.
And I think people don't understand that even when we don't have joy per se in this moment, there is still joy in the connection that we've made with each other. And even through these horrible moments, I'm sure, I'm going to speak for you, but I'm going to say, I am sure that those that you've connected with brought you some joy. I'm about to cry.
I am too.
Because I know that there were so many of us, even when you didn't know, that are talking to each other to make sure that you're okay. And have you checked in with Lauren? Do you know what's going on with Lauren? I talked to her this morning. She's okay. People were connecting for you, because that is the joy of, there's strangers that you don't know that are my friends who now know who you are. And we've talked about this, and it's so funny because I'm like, just Lauren, like everybody knows who Lauren is if you're in my life. This morning, I had a friend text me. She goes, "How are you this morning? By the way, how's Lauren?" You don't know her, but she knows who you are. And that to me is the joy, that we've connected as human beings who are trying to fight this fight in the shittiest of times. It's truly, in our lifetime, I don't know that we've ever seen shittier times to be going through this. And so for someone to tell you to go find the joy, you have that joy because you have friendships and people who care about you, even through the shittiest of times. And that's where the joy is. So fuck you to whoever you think you are, that we need to go find joy. We have the joy. You just don't know it or don't see it because you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
But it's here. Burn that shit down.
Burn it all down. I didn't know that was happening, that you guys were talking behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're talking behind your back, but it's good.
I'll welcome that kind of talking behind my back. That's so true, because I think the joy is in the people who reached out and they said, and you were one of them, like, not to rush into trying to like pretend that this is fine, and pretend like that I can take time, I can breathe, I can that when you're dehumanized in such a way, and people are posting photos of your family and you're terrified. Like, I was totally all fine and pulled together when it was starting to happen, until I was on the phone with my kids' school, and I explained the situation, and I was like, these are the law enforcement agencies that I've been in touch with. This is what they've told me to do. Now I'm calling you. I'm not sure who I should speak to, if it's the principal, if it's somebody else. And then they said, "Okay, and what's your son's name?" And that's when I lost it. I just absolutely burst into tears. That was the first time I cried, because I thought about the work that I'm doing, the free labor work that I'm doing to speak for empathy and humanity, and the cost of what that is with my kids. And I know that I'm doing this for my kids to make the world better for them, but am I putting them in harm's way? Am I putting myself in harm's way? But I know that that's part of advocacy. True advocacy is when you are willing to put yourself in harm's way, in uncomfortable situations, because that's when change actually happens. But it's so that like dehumanization that has happened, and then the joy has come into knowing and hearing the reminders that I am a human and it's okay because this is a big deal. And even though there are people who know what's happening, who, my family, they know exactly what's happening. They've seen the Insta story where I posted the screenshots. They are well aware, and I've not heard anything from them. And so even if I haven't had the bandwidth to respond to everybody, even just getting that little, hey, I'm thinking of you. Are you okay? Don't forget to take care of yourself. Like, even just that is like, I'm still a human, even though there's this whole dehumanizing thing happening. I still get to exist. And that's the joy. And I think it's really, we're stepping into this like chosen family space. Mm-hmm. Like, if you are my family, and if you know that something horrific is happening to me, and you can't bring yourself to engage with me at all, especially for those who I know disagree with me politically, that's where it's really challenging. And I will say like that I have family members who I'm very close with, who I have been really supportive of through their struggles in recent years. And to get nothing from them now is eye-opening. It's really eye-opening.
Isn't it interesting how we have this side that says, oh, political violence, and, this is so wrong. And everyone that I know, political candidate, elected official, friends, have all called for nonviolence. Every single one of the people that represent me locally, nationally, district-wise, have all come out and said, we do not support this. This is not okay. Yet when it's happening to you, the other side can't reach out, even if they're related to you. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that we're seeing with Melissa Hortman and her husband being murdered in Minnesota. For any of you who are like, oh, I don't recall her name. Do I know her? President? It's the same thing that we have two males who were found hanging from a tree today, yesterday. And where's the outrage? Anybody? Anyone? Just curious where that is. Yeah. Because people saw that happen too. So the selectiveness is where the hypocrisy lies.
Yes.
And that's what needs to be called out. We can be called lunatics, which is just such a kind and loving word. Why? You're not shaming us for caring. I will never be ashamed of caring for somebody. Oh, I'm such a bad human. I can feel what you feel. Shame on me. No.
Yeah.
But if you're going to call us names for caring, you're going to only acknowledge when something bad happens to somebody who is God-fearing and a white cisgendered male, but you won't call out anything else. It's all a reflection on you. It's not on me. It's not on you, Lauren. It's on you, the person doing it.
I posted to Facebook, which I need to go through my Facebook and remove a lot of people, because as I become more public, I just need to be a lot more careful with my personal information. And so on Facebook, I posted, if you haven't spoken up about children being gunned down in classrooms, and about Melissa Hortman. I didn't even say her name. I just said the elected official and her spouse who were assassinated in Minnesota this summer, and about the attempts at preventing violence in communities. If you have not ever spoken out about those things, but you are speaking out now, why? And people, one person in particular, just was completely unhinged. Like, it was the most wild response. And I think that question, for some reason, triggered something. And I've seen that question posted everywhere, but it has to trigger in you because you're posing it as a question. And so you have to think about, well, why didn't I? Why is it this? And if you don't like the answer that you come up with to that question, then you're going to get mad at the person asking the question rather than why that's the answer that you have in the first place.
It's time for reflection.
Yes. I actually want to repose that question now that I have publicly shared about the death threats on Facebook. Because previously I had only put it in my Insta story. I hadn't put it in that Facebook space. But now that I've put that out there, I kind of want to reframe the question and say, okay, asking this question again. Why do you feel inclined to speak out about this and you can't be bothered to send me a text message if you know me in real life? Like, why? What is the difference there? Why do you feel so inclined to, I don't do politics, I never speak about politics, but I'm going to speak about this thing, and I'm not going to reach out to this person who I love, who is in my life, and I'm not going to check and see if they're okay. I am not going to even heart a message. I'm just going to ignore it and pretend like I didn't see it, as though ignoring things and pretending like bad things don't happen, as though that has ever solved anything. It's only just created trauma.
You saying this reminds me of how I feel we need more connection. I wrote about this too in friendship, and I have been trying to make more of an effort, but I've always been this type of person who, like, if I see you online and then I see you in real life, I'm like, hey, so I really loved what you said about this. Like, let's be friends. I did this to a mom at school. I chased her down after a field trip. I was like, hey, I saw what you put in that Facebook group, and I'm totally there. And by the way, my name's Michelle. Like, can we be friends? We're not friends. But to do the same thing in real life, every time I have seen someone that I've known from childhood who has posted something positive, I've reached out, whether it is in the comments section or a DM, and I've said, thank you, because I'm agreeing with you on this, even though I think I've made it pretty clear where I stand, just in case you didn't see my post, like, yay, us. But we need more of that. We need more of this connection so that people know, not know where you stand, but know that you are that safe space.
Yeah.
We are missing that. I saw a post this morning from Chris and Dave, and shout out to Chris and Dave. Really excited to meet you soon. About, wanting to figure out a way, and they brought Nikki into this too, of, how do we invite these people in? And I'm questioning who wants to be invited in, because I would welcome you. Like, if you're, we can go back to my neighbor, right? Oh, you want to come in? Come in, please. I welcome that you want to change and have conversations. But then he said something about what happened in Utah, and whoop, nope, you're not there yet. Mm-hmm. But if you are there, we totally welcome you. Like, that is who we are. Mm-hmm. So connect, like, and for us who are there, be open to it. Let people know. I want to say we're not putting people down, maybe, and I'm sure we are. I'm sure that we are guilty of, myself included, of like putting down this right side. But at the same time, I've also been that person who says, this is where I stand. If the door is open, like, you want to come over, come over.
Yeah.
You can come to this side. You can change your ways of thinking. You can change your mind. How do we do that? How do we become those connectors and change minds when people aren't even willing to reach out and say, holy shit, this happened to you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And that's the whole reason why I still have not unfollowed anybody on Facebook or Instagram. I have started unfollowing on Instagram, but people I know in real life, I'm not unfollowing, and I'm not blocking or hiding, even if I know that we are diametrically opposed ideologically, because I want to keep that door open. And a lot of the content that I put out, I'm talking to them. I might be talking to thousands of strangers on the internet, but I'm also talking to my neighbor. I'm also talking to my cousin. I'm also talking to my aunt. And so I'm trying to keep that door open. And there is something within me that's starting to shift right now. And I think that's something that I am most resentful of for this administration, for what it's changing in me, because I'm becoming really closed off and protective of who I let into my space. And I used to be much less. I mean, there's I think of like a couple of stories of sort of my naivety of how the world works, but just as an example of who I am. Right after Hurricane Katrina, I was living in Chicago with two other roommates, with two women, and it was not that long after, and I'd seen some report of like busing people up to Chicago. And I was walking from where I parked my car, and there was this guy walking the streets, and he looked lost, and I asked him if he was okay. He had a New Orleans accent, and I remember he was wearing overalls and had a backpack. And he said he was from New Orleans, had been bussed up after the hurricane. There was no more room at the shelter where he was dropped off. And so he was just wandering the streets trying to figure out what to do. And so I brought him up to my third floor walk-up apartment and had him stay in the entryway as I scrambled for blankets and pillows and food, and I packed 2 massive shopping bags of stuff for him, and brought it out to him in the entryway. And afterwards, my roommates were like, "Do you realize how fucking dangerous that was? That you don't know that person. That person could have hurt you. That person could have hurt us. You have no idea." And thank God nothing happened. But I just naively have always been like, "Oh, you need help? Here, come on in. Let me get you blankets and pillows and food. And like, I'm not going to have you sleep on my couch, but like, I'm going to give you a little bit of something that I have to offer, and hope that helps." I mean, I was like 25 at the time. So that is changing within me. Like, I am not that same person anymore. And that's one of those things that I'm probably going to forever be brokenhearted about this administration, and not even the administration, but looking around at our neighbors and our society. Mm-hmm. It's changing that assumption of inherent goodness in everyone. That is starting to change within me, and I'm struggling with it, to be honest.
I feel that because we went out on Sunday, and it was a big group of people, and I found myself looking around, and there was this pit in my stomach. I was like, yeah, I don't know these people. I don't know who's safe. I don't, and I'm not that person either. I'm like, la di da di da, like, let's go have fun, and look, we're all here because we all like cars or whatever it is. And I found myself going, oh, is that person against me? Oh, is something going to happen here? The safety and the goodness needs to come back.
Yes.
But only we can bring that back now, I think. It's not going to be a leader. It's not going to be an elected official. It's just not.
It'll be a leader, but not an elected official. I think.
Not a current one. I
I think
don't
it'll
see
be,
it.
I think the leadership that we're seeing, it's people like you. It's people who are using their voice in real life moments, where like that's leadership. That's true leadership, I think. Because like you said earlier, we need to make connections with people, and so much of that is in real life, not like, yes, the online space I think is really important, and people are saying just put your phone down and don't engage in social media. I don't agree, because I think that if we remove ourselves from social media and technology, then we're ceding the ground to whatever extremist activity is going to take place. We cannot cede this ground. We have to continue putting out empathetic, positive content, because that is what is going to win the day. But we also need to be doing that in real life. And I think that's what leadership really is in this moment. People who are using their voice in their real life and online, but for goodness, not for, because I should, to be clear, like the thing that is changing within me, where I am less I have less of an assumption that there is inherent goodness in everyone, and I am exactly what you just described. Like, I don't know, does this person want me to die? Does that person agree with the kinds of things that I'm getting? Did they think that I should be exterminated? It's coming from a place of sadness, and never a place of vitriol and wanting to cause harm towards somebody else. That is never something that will happen for me. It is just pure sadness. And I think acknowledging that sadness, and recognizing the world around you is not as good as you had hoped it would be. The response to that is not, okay, so I'm just gonna like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like, it's sadness. Yeah. I don't know if any of that made sense. That
it did.
Felt very rambly.
Yeah. Because I said this to my husband on the way home from drop off. I said, I can't believe that we're raising our children in this, because it's really sad that this is what they're growing up and seeing. And you can shelter them as much as you want. It's playground talk. Utah was talked about on the playground, and thank goodness my son knew what happened, was familiar with all of the circumstances. And he came home, and little girl had said, hey, did you hear? And he goes, yeah, I did. And they agreed that it was really sad, because no child should have something happen like that to a parent. But then they went on to discuss that some things were just not nice. And they both got it. He goes, you know what, Mom? She's for the people, and so is her family. So she's good. That's how we describe it. Are you for the people or not for the people? We are for the people. And that's what empathy is, for the people.
I love that. I did an event back in May called Pop Up for the People, and I've been wanting to bring it back. And it was a fundraiser for National Immigrant Justice Center. And it was in direct response to an event that was taking place at a hotel with a particular person's name plastered right in front of it in Chicago. So I did a competing event to raise money for NIJC, and I want to bring Pop Up for the People back. And I think that is a place of joy. That's like bringing people in person, in community together. I also am finding my home has always been a gathering place for friends. And so I want that to open up, not just to friends, but to people I'm meeting through the work that we're doing in advocacy. And Gloria Steinem said, let's bring it to our girl, Gloria. She said, and has said multiple times, that gathering in person is how movements move forward. That her living room was kind of the epicenter of.
There was an article on that. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, I've never been invited to the living room.
I know. So I want my house. I want this room where I'm sitting right now to be that. I want that. I just need people to be willing to come all the way far west in the suburbs. But yeah, we are that generation now. We can step into that and create community in person and online, and create that online community, like bring it together in person. It doesn't have to just exist online. But also simultaneously, like, I do kind of want to just throw my phone in the woods and not look at it. But I have been. Somebody was like, "Can you just turn your phone off and not look at it?" And I said, "No, I need to be monitoring what's being posted about me and blocking people, because if anybody says anything remotely, even remotely in the neighborhood, they're gone. Block."
Yeah.
So I need to stay vigilant about that for my own safety and for my kids' safety. But I really would like to just throw it in the water.
You will. And we will get together and we will make this movement in person before we burn down the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to bring it down and bring it back around to burning it all down.
I am doing something ridiculous, though. Can we talk about a moment of joy?
Mm-hmm. Oh, please.
I cannot wait for this. It was completely on just like a spur of the moment, but I was born in the 80s. I love 90s hip hop. Really, really big fan of 90s hip hop. Not that far from my house this weekend, there is this event, and by the time this airs, the event will have already taken place. There's this event called Tacos and Tequila, and Ludacris is the headliner.
Luda. We're on a first name, nickname basis.
We sure are. So I'm going to go from like whatever hellscape we're navigating to, I'm just going to go like throw some ass and like.
Oh my God.
It's going to be a bunch of like 40-year-old millennial women like in the suburbs, like the white suburbs of Chicago.
With Luda.
Like, with Luda. I've got some like faux leather shorts I'm going to wear, I think.
Please send pictures.
I'm just going to go so ridiculous because we need a little joy. We need a little,
I think Ludacris might bring a lot of joy to your life.
we need a little Luda. Everybody does.
Oh my God, I love this.
The Luda gifts that I've been sending my friends who are going to this.
Please just send them to me too, even though I won't be able to attend. I would like some Luda gifts.
I got hoes in different area codes.
And on that note,
oh man, I'm glad.
More joy next week. More joy. We're gonna burn down the crap part and just bring in the light and the joy. And I love you. I hate people, but I love you.
I love you.